Hey everyone, so I thought we would do a fun little video and compare the Tanaan jungle to Hellfire Peninsula. After all, they are kind of the same place. Now, this video was actually made possible by something that Az tipped me off on a good few days ago. I think since he's actually done a video, like a full tour of Tanaan if you want to have a look at that. But essentially, if you are a druid in flight form, and then you port in with there's like on the PTR, they've got a special teleporter NPC, and if you do that and port into Tanaan, you can fly to get aerial shots and have a look at things. So first of all, there's our two dark portals. As you can see, the current one is a little bit worse for wear. Now here we've got the two main sort of Alliance and Horde bases of Hellfire, and what's curious is that if you actually hop over into Tanaan, you find that there's actually an equivalency. And then of course we go down into the Road of Glory, which leads up to Hellfire Citadel. Now, hopping on over to Tanaan, this character can't actually see the two of them, but trust me, that's where, I think it's called Vol'jin's Watch or something, and Lion's Keep, or generic Alliance and Horde names, but they're sort of there, they're a little bit closer together, and if you look at this Path to the Glory area, it's really militarized in the old Hellfire thing with the Fell Horde, and while this isn't exactly the same place, it's pretty much the same. The dimensions are a little bit different because, well, you know, Hellfire did get blasted to pieces, and actually Tanaan got blasted to pieces by crazy Burning Legion stuff. I mean, just look at Hellfire Citadel there, it's a little bit messed up. And I've got to say, the new one really is impressive. They're certainly outclassing the Fell Horde, I will say that much. The Fell Horde one does look a little bit falling to pieces, whereas this one more looks torn to pieces, but at least full of really, fell badass stuff. Now, not everywhere in this zone is a direct equivalence. For an example, some stuff was actually placed here by the Alliance in Warcraft 2, so obviously that won't be sort of reflected in Warlords of Draenor. Now, here's the sort of like wall at the side of Hellfire, which in Tanaan it leads into this really, really cool marsh. Like, this marsh is one of my favorite bits of Tanaan. It doesn't have a direct equivalent in Hellfire, but if you keep on going in that direction, you do find this area, so we can just say that, you know, portal exploding shenanigans maybe caused it to be blasted away or something. Now you can see this place here, it's all like Bleeding Hollow stuff, but the locations of the three Watchtowers, there's one here, one to the left, and one even further to the left, they pretty much correspond to the three like PvP objectives that were actually there in Hellfire, although obviously there are no PvP objectives. Now here is the temple/altar of Shannara, I think, something like that. It's in a bit of a different location in the original Hellfire, but what's pretty cool to see is that it's actually reflected in the new Tanaan, and it's weird. I mean, I still remember doing quests in this location all those years ago, and here's the new version. As you can see, it really is using the updated Draenei sort of, look and feel, which is a lot nicer. I already thought it's a lot more shiny anyway, and of course it's very Burning Legioned up, which is again awesome to see. It really is just a very unique thing, the way they can sort of revisit somewhere old and really make it up new. Now here's an Arakoa place. This does not have a direct equivalent, however, kind of on the opposite end of Hellfire Peninsula, there is also the Arakoa place. Basically, the Tanaan one is in the north, whereas this one is directly opposite in the south in Hellfire. And I remember there being some really annoying quests here where you had to talk to a dwarf, and then you had to go all the way back to Netherguard Keep, and then all the way back here to give him a drink so we'd give you the next quest. Ah, dwarves. Now here is just me flying over the sort of top area. There's the, I think it's called the Temple of Telhamat or something, I forget the name exactly. It is not represented at all in the new Tanaan. In fact, the reason why I'm just doing one flyover of this whole region, including the bizarre, like, Burning Legion pit and the I think it's the Mokgol orcs or whatever, I forget the name exactly. The reason I'm flying over here is because there is no direct comparison. In Tanaan Jungle, this section is basically just Bleeding Hollow stuff, and a few little things like that. So definitely they are doing large deviations here, which makes sense because while these two zones did have a shared starting point, they've both branched out in very different sort of timelines. Now here's the Iron, I think it's called the Iron something Harbor. This is, well, in a second we will see what happened to that. Yeah, not really much of a thing when we hop into the old Outland. Of course, this area was a lot more built up by the Iron Horde. The Iron Horde have got the benefit of the Black Fuse Company technology and stuff like that, whereas the sort of old Horde didn't. They were more just sort of crazy demon stuff. Now here I am flying up to the throne of Kil Jaeden. Again, a really memorable place. I think the last time I was here I was doing some Shattered Sun offensive quests. And yeah, so this is the old version, which I think, you know, artistically is very strong, but if you actually hop over to the new version, I've got to say it really is impressive. Now this is two areas. What I'm at right now is the Fell Forge. The region just a little bit further on is the actual throne of Kil Jaeden. And what's really cool is this particular area that I'm at here. Like, there's the Iron Star thrower that was thrown at Manaroth, and there's like there's the two spike thingies that you can see there on the bottom left. So it's really an area steeped with a lot of cool stuff from the cinematic. And when we fly through here, this is where the new world boss, Supreme Lord Kazak, will spawn. He should have been spawned here. I guess someone must have killed him. Haven't actually fought him yet. Now here's just another sort of quick look at the destroyed Dark Portal. As much as the Warlords of Draenor one is cool, I've got to say, I think the old one at the time was more effective, because, like, obviously you were still tiny in comparison to it when you hopped in, and the thing they did, which was really cool, is this, the whole giant battle. As a new player, that was just something that was kind of, it was special, you know, it was a memorable thing. Now here I am at the bit where Tanaan Jungle exits off to Talador. This big gate has been blasted open in the Warlords of Draenor timeline. And you can tell this is a lot different because obviously this area actually went right into Zangarmarsh in Outland, which is very different to how things went here. There are still loads of elite Iron Horde mobs guarding it though, which is a little bit odd to me. And then, of course, yeah, we just sort of fly out into Tanaan. Now, here is the old version of it in Hellfire Peninsula, and as soon as you go in, you're right into Zangarmarsh. And it just essentially means that that whole area outside of those gates in Tanaan Jungle basically kind of got Zangarmarsh. That whole sea that you find in between, you know, the sort of the Frostfire area and bits of Northern Talador, they were all Zangarmarsh in the old continuity. And I've got to admit, I really liked Zangarmarsh. I know that it not being there did make sense, but there was something about that which was just so unique and really cool. But anyway, there's a quick little comparison of the two places. I just thought it would be a little bit of fun. Not everything's a direct one-to-one comparison because there are actually very different zones, as it turns out, but there's definitely lots of throwbacks, and it's welcome to see those things. Anyway, that is it for me. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.